Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm talking about how eclipse energy can bring out kind of like your inner desires to bring things forward, to bring things to a healed state, and really bring your abilities all together. So really the true power in kind of like understanding like what's coming up next, kind of like that astrological forecast of kind of like what's coming up next and how can you take advantage of that, really comes together when you're talking about eclipse energy. Because a lot of times people say, oh, it's not a big deal, or that Mercury's in this phase or someone's in this phase or whatever else. And I was like, yeah, I used to be one of those. I used to be one of those people a long time ago. And then I started to realize, like, when the moon was in certain phases, it was really affecting me more than it would others. When it went into retrograde, or when like different planets, or we had an eclipse, it was kind of like, wow, I'm really feeling things coming up, and kind of like these abilities are amping up all of a sudden, just like, you know, kind of like, oh my gosh, this is getting crazy. So it's kind of really a great time to understand what's going on. And eclipse season is really a time for change. And a lot of people may not understand that, but I'm trying to do this video so I can get you a greater insight into this. So kind of really, it's marked by kind of like our full moon eclipse. And our full moon eclipse allows you to kind of have that release and that kind of letting go or bringing to an end. And a lot of times, like, people don't really understand, if you're holding on to something and you're not allowing it to flow or to go, it's one of those, what's happening around you is that you're hanging onto it so nothing new can come in. You're hanging onto it so tight that nothing else can come in around you because you're hanging onto it so tight. I can't let it go. But when we let it go and let it flow, it really does bring a new healed state for us to kind of bring in our energy. And it's one of those, but a new moon eclipse is all about like receiving and nurturing and usually setting our intentions, a new beginning. So it's kind of like, wow, both of these have like great insight into them. So it's one of those, the full moon is about releasing and letting go things go and kind of like bringing them to an end, where a new moon eclipse is all about bringing in the new stuff, what's starting, setting our intentions, all of that kind of thing. Once in a while we get another like full moon or an eclipse bonus, kind of like we get a little extra one in there, and this can bring in a need to propel ourselves forward. And like I said, that eclipse energy lasts about 6 months, so it's kind of like when it's kind of starting to taper off, then we have another eclipse. So it's kind of like they're always kind of like bringing us in from one to the next, like, hey, this period is coming to an end and this eclipse period is coming to an end, but there's always a new one coming in to take its place. The entire period of like an eclipse season lasts about 6 to 8 weeks, and they come in twice per year, and it's going to be really high for that 6 to 8 weeks, and then it's going to taper off and then hold that position until we get to the next eclipse. Charging ourselves to grow during that time frame, and kind of creating rituals around it, and kind of like, how can I embrace this even more? What are the things that I can do to get prepared for this eclipse energy better than I normally would be? How can I do this? And a lot of times rituals really do that for us, and there is no like, you have to do it this way or there's no way about it. So kind of like allowing that energy, like, what would you like to bring in? What is it that you really want to charge that eclipse energy with for you? And once you kind of figure it out, it makes it a little bit easier kind of energy. So a new moon solar eclipse is especially remarkable, and its duration can really bring in kind of like our biggest dreams, kind of what's coming in, and really powerfully kind of like push us towards our intentions and kind of starting something new. So it's like, what are you ready to start new? What is that idea or that information that you're ready to really push forward in this? So what is that new thing that you really want to start? And kind of raising your vibrations around it. Kind of like, what is it that you want to start? Maybe it's a new business, maybe it's a new relationship, maybe it's something else. What is the new that you're ready to bring into? And once you kind of get that and kind of set the intentions, like, then do some research. like who's the best at teaching you how to set your goals, that sort of thing. Kind of, we're going to talk about a few of them, but these are kind of more like the psychic side of things and not necessarily like more the human side of things, because a lot of times people really think the human side, but there's a psychic side to this as well, and it's kind of mixing these two together to bring this to a full kind of like, wow, now I'm completely understand where I want to go with all of this. I've got about 5 of these that are kind of like my favorite things to do to kind of get prepared for a new moon solar eclipse. Rituals, kind of like getting ready for the ritual part of it. What are my intentions? Where do I want to go with them? And understanding like that combination of like the human ritual stuff and then the psychic side of the stuff, like where are we going to go with all of this, is going to be really great, and it's going to combine into an amazing aspect just for me. Like, what is it that I want to bring in for me? What is that energy? And I will tell you, kind of like the number one is kind of like writing it down. Literally write it down. I am choosing to open a business. I am choosing to go back to school. I am choosing to start a relationship. Whatever that is, like, state it. I am now looking for my perfect partner, and things like that. So kind of like really being like really clear and state it. And a lot of times this is really great to put on like a goal poster as well. Putting them up there, because like when you make it real, when you get to see it, it's kind of like, wow, at first you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm so intimidated by this. But eventually you'll be like, yes, that's my goal. That's where I want to go with all of this. Writing down kind of maximizing that solar eclipse energy of what's new, putting it down and writing down like, what is it that I desire to bring forward? Writing it down, and you can put it on your poster. You can find pictures of it. I often tell people kind of like one of the fun things to do is find a picture of you doing that. Maybe you pretending with a friend, like driving your favorite car. It could be like standing there as a business owner, like, this is my shop, or this is what I'd love to have. Putting that in like really tangible things. Now, I will give you a little hint and a secret about this. Now, I'm not an artist, and my students will be like, yeah, she's not an artist. But even though I'm not an artist, if I draw a picture of it, I'm putting my energy in that. I'm putting my forethought. I'm putting my heart and soul into that. So putting me in that image, that picture of me owning a business, or me going back to school, or whatever that is, starting a new relationship, all of those things, like, yes, starting a new job, a new career, what does that look like? And taking a picture or making the picture yourself is going to really like amplify that and ground yourself in it. Can be really great. Get very clear. So many times people will say, I'm choosing to have a new relationship with somebody, and I want the person to be nice. That describes really nothing. I want them to be handsome or beautiful. That really describes nothing, because what I would describe as kind of like handsome and beautiful, you may not think that's handsome or beautiful, and that's okay. We all have our own opinions, but it's like, what does handsome or beautiful mean to you? What does the word nice mean to you? I hear that so many times, like, I want them to be nice. Well, of course we don't want them to be a total pain, but it's one of those, what does nice mean to you? What is that word? What does that vocabulary word really, really, truly mean for you? What is that energy? What does nice mean? What does that mean? And when you see it in your world, it's like, if you think, oh, I want my partner to open the door for me. Every time I go to a building, I want them to run ahead and open up the door for me. That would be the best thing. That would be nice to me. That's showing me how nice they are. So when you see it, go, wow, kind of like creator energy. Yep, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I just saw it, and there it was happening. Maybe it's them pulling out the chair for you. Maybe it's them looking at you when you're talking to them. Whatever it is, when you see it, kind of like right there, creator energy. That's exactly what I want in my life. So it's kind of like you're kind of reaffirming what you've already put on your list. One of the things you can do if you're kind of not sure, or you have multiple ideas, literally have a page for each idea. Maybe it's like, this is for my new business, this is for my new relationship, this is for my new career, this is for my new whatever it is. And it could also be amping up an old relationship. It could be like, I'm going to reconnect with my family, or I'm going to reconnect with my son or my daughter, or whatever it is, and putting energy there. And what does that look like to you? And what are the aspects or the steps that you would want to do there? Kind of the next one is setting up your intentions. And a lot of times when people do this, they really, like I said, they do unclear ones, but you need to be clear and concise and really kind of like putting it in the present tense. I love talking to my son and making new connections with him. I love my new position at work. Like, I love it now, even though you don't have the job. Like, hear it in that present tense, like it's changing everything right there. And I will say it's kind of like one of the interesting parts is as you keep doing that, feeling it in your system. A lot of times, like, people will say things like I really want this job and I want to get paid $1,000 a day. And it's like, for what you do, you're not going to get that. So it's one of those, and you'll feel your body like tensing up or tightening up, and that's because it's unbelievable to you. And so it's one of those, if you don't believe it, your body's going to tense up. So it's one of those, if you feel that, change your wording so it does resonate with it. So instead of saying like, maybe I have it already, maybe I'm working towards it. And that's going to change the energy of those words. Taking advantage of our solar eclipses, our lunar eclipses, is a great way to kind of reprogram what we desire in our life and kind of bringing that in. Now, kind of the next one is kind of really thinking about where can you put more copies of like your vision board? Where are those at? Now, you could have a big one in your bedroom or in your closet or wherever that is, maybe in your office space. Sometimes just putting them on like index cards or business card size and kind of like putting it and taking it with you, putting it in your wallet, putting it in your car so you can see it, reminding you of that all the time. The more you remind yourself of it, it's kind of like, remember, that's what you wanted to work towards. That's why you're doing this, or this is why you're going to this class, or whatever it is. Like, this is what we're working towards. That can kind of really refresh our engagement in it. Like, yes, I'm really talking to myself about this ability that I want to bring through. I want to bring this forward, and this can really bring this energy to a kind of like a great way of doing it. Kind of my next one is I like setting up like usually near my vision board or something like that, kind of like the one that's in my bedroom or something like that. What are the things that I can put near it or around it that's going to amplify this energy? Now, a lot of people like candles. I necessarily don't like candles lit all the time. But if you really had one that was like contained, like you could light it and do that. But I will say kind of one of the interesting ones is like, I like to put crystals around it. I love kind of like adding something to it every few days or every week or so, kind of putting some other aspect to that. So that could be putting another crystal on there, or putting some other attention, or maybe putting decorations. A lot of times I will keep my Valentine's Day decorations, the little hearts, and I'll get the little peel and stick one so I can put that on there. So I'm loving what I'm looking at. I'm loving that energy of what I'm looking at. That can be a really great one. So kind of setting that energy up right away as you're kind of like continually putting that energy out there for yourself. Now, the last one I would say is make a crystal grid. Now, a lot of times what I would use is kind of what is behind me. I would start with the flower of life, and you can find them in very different aspects in different places. But starting with that as your crystal grid, and kind of like picking and choosing where each stone goes or whatever it is. And I may even underneath all of this have one of my my vision boards underneath there, and I could add pictures of it as well, kind of putting, this is a picture of me in my new job, and putting a crystal on it. So that's going to amplify that energy up even more. The kind of like the seed of life, the flower of life, are really a great way to kind of amp that up. Now, I do have a lot of students that really, really love like Metatron's cube. So if you love Metatron's cube, which is a part of this, it's just one of the layers in there. One of the things you could do is get that Metatron's cube and use that to kind of set your crystal grid. But a lot of it is kind of like, where this stone want to go? Where does that energy, and then kind of what picture is it resonating with, if you're going to put it with a picture, or putting the pictures underneath, or putting a copy of it down and then putting your crystal grid over the top of it. So you're amplifying that energy. And really a lot of times, like when you get into the meditative state of making a crystal grid, the crystals just are almost like drawing themselves to where they got to go. Now, a lot of times to kind of keep it in that place, I'll use like hot glue once I'm all finished to kind of set it in its place. That can be really a powerful thing to do. And that can really amp up to kind of setting your intentions right for what you choose to bring in, cleansing your crystal grid from time to time, and kind of like as it's achieved, take the picture off. Even if it's on your goal poster, or put done or complete or something like that, like, yes, I've done it, ta-da, I've done it, something like that, so you can kind of like, yes, I've accomplished this, but I still have more to do. That's going to really amplify this energy and really bring this into a great way to kind of really keep you on track, keep your energy going and flowing. That's a really, really important one. So let's do the angel cards, my favorite. So let's just do a couple of angel cards. Angel cards can give us such a great insight into all things. This is Mercury, and this is the messengers. Literally, your vision board acts like a messenger for your client. Every time you see it, like I said, especially if you kind of make copies of it, if you have like smaller versions, like in your car, your purse, your wallet, in your office, different places, and it can really amplify that energy, because it's kind of like reminding you over and over with these little messages of that's where you want, that's where I want to go. This is Pisces, and this is being sensitive. And it's kind of like that energy of where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? And being sensitive, looking for those signs, looking for that affirmation statement, or that, yes, I'm on the right track. That can be a great sign you're moving in the right aspect, and believe in yourself. This is the square, and this is all about tension. If there's tension, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's time to, like, I need to work on some other aspect of it now and then come back to this. So really looking at that differently. What is it that I really require looking at this differently? How can I make this stand out for myself, or how can I make this amplify for myself? This is our last angel card. Oh, it's upside down. This is the 8th house, and this is the mystery. The mystery part is it helps you manifest in some amazing ways. But I will tell you, one of the secrets and the hints and kind of like the mystery to this is, one of the things is, if you're not in alignment and you feel that tension coming up, know that that's the one that you may need to put at the end of the list, or it's not the right time. And when the right time comes, it is going to be like, yes, now it's my time. It's our time to work on this together. It is going to show you that now is the time to work forward. It's a great way to think about it. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.